Nalin, one of the big claims of the government was that since the scrapping of Article 370, the situation in Jammu and Kashmir has got better than the past. But the killings of Makhanlal Bindru, Golgappa seller Videndra Paswan, Satinder Kaur, the principal, and Deepak Chand and others raise serious questions about how valid those claims really are.
They neutralized the top terrorists one after the other. So don't run down the success of the security forces, the police there, by just 2, 3, 4. Every incident of terrorism is terrible. And the state works overnight. The police forces, security agents work to stop it. But I think there is a whole narrative that is built that one incident happens and you run down the entire work done.
The government of Jammu and Kashmir and the central government, which did a fantastic job by abrogating Article 370 and 35A, did not take the right course of action, because from 1947 onwards, to the exodus of 89-90, the Vandama massacres, the Sangrampura massacre, and the multiple massacres that have happened, all were linked to jihad. And you cannot fight jihad with development. If jihad and development were together, if antidote to jihad was development, then we would have not seen the Islamic insurgency across the globe, including the most developed nations on this planet.
The Kashmiri Pandits, now the Prime Minister has given a package, etc. They don't want the Kashmiri Pandits to come back. Neither Pakistan nor some of the inmates in the valley. They do not want, because they have taken the property, etc. They don't want this property to go away. So they want to carry out sensational attack. These are sensational, even if two people are of a particular community.
Somewhere this government has failed to curtail the home ground militancy. Somewhere they have failed to curtail the radicalization camps. Camps are still being held over there in Kashmir, whereby radicalization among the youth is going on very fast. And viewing this entire situation today, people who are living in Jammu and Kashmir, they live a life of fear and horror.
It's literally a zero-sum game. Nothing has changed on ground. One thing, however, which I can see on ground, and you will also have the data for it, is that insurgency is now moving into areas which were for 2-3 years before considered to be quote-unquote safe. For example, Srinagar. In Srinagar, when was the last time you've heard of a terror attack, let's suppose, in Gupkar area, in Sonwar area, in Hadith Singh High Street, in Lal Chowk? We now have attacks in Rajouri. When was the last time you heard of a terror attack in Rajouri?
How do you respond to the Prime Minister's basic charge of selective outrage? It seems to stem, as the BJP subsequently suggests, that when there is an attack that takes place, let's say against a Dalit in Rajasthan, which is Congress ruled, activists don't make it a big issue, but when it happens in a BJP state, it becomes a political issue. How do you respond to this line that has been pushed by the Prime Minister?
Human rights is defined, if you look at the UN definition of human rights, it is the state, the government, that is supposed to that there are certain things they must not do, that means they should not violate these rights. So there are certain restrictions on the state's actions. There are certain things they must do to protect rights, and there are certain things they must positively do as policies to guarantee certain rights like education, food, and so on. Now, when it comes to whataboutery and selective outrage, it is actually Narendra Modi and his party. So they will always talk about 1984.
I am taking the name of 3 organizations: Andhra Pradesh Civil Liberties Committee, Association for the Protection of Democratic Rights, CPDR, and the third committee is the Committee for the Protection of Democratic Rights. These 3 bodies look like that they are the democratic rights bodies. But they had been and they have been and they are. If they were dominated by Naxal activities. They protected Naxal activities. In fact, the Naxalites, masquerading as the human rights activity, they have abused the entire concept of the human rights.
The government of the day, the Prime Minister, is attacking human rights groups by with the old stale argument that human rights groups are basically because they are speaking up for the rights of people whose lives are taken away under the pretext that they are Naxals or whatever it is, or whose freedom is taken away. They are being accused themselves of being extremists.
That's why Prime Minister said that. In 1981, PUCL, then dominated by certain radical elements, has published a report on Kashmir. The report, before getting released in India, it was used by Pakistan in the United Nations. For the first time in the history of human rights, the PUCL has formed a committee under B.G. Varghese, some committee outside the army. Some civilian was engaged for that committee. B.G. Varghese was a great human rights activist. Everybody will accept his role in Indian civil liberties movement. And he had given clean sheet to the PUCL. This kind of activism of the human rights organization in the name of the facade of the human rights, they are using the facade of the human rights to defame India.
Ashok Gehlot is very clear. BJP बेवकूफी की बातें कर रही है, बिना मतलब तुलना कर रही है. There is no comparison in crimes if they're taking place in two different states.
People are some human rights, activists. They want to look at the state. They want to look at the religion. They want to see the party that is in power, and then they want to raise a concern about the particular community.
Okay.
So there is selective outrage.
There will be crime. There will be crime, and all kind of crime needs to be denounced. But what is the action that the state and the police and the administration and the political leadership takes in that is important. With what moral authority does the Prime Minister say this whataboutery? Because the reality is, you have still not sacked the Minister of State for Home Affairs, Ajay Mishra Teni, whose son is being accused.
Actually gets not just the farmers beaten up in Hanumangarh, and he's talking with what moral standing does he have to question the BJP when it was the UP government which actually was which actually acted against the accused.
The UP government did nobody a favor. They were pulled up by the Supreme Court and there was pressure by the opposition. If the police takes its course, there is no need for the opposition to go. But if you are telling me that a girl will be burnt alive after a brutal rape like it happened in Hathras, or in Lakhimpur, or Unnao, or Shahjahanpur, and there will be political patronage that will be given, and opposition is expected to keep quiet, then we are not living in a democracy.
One by one.